The locked room. The old house stood still in the early dawn, as if it too was waiting for the inevitable. Abeni sat in the living room, staring at the large wooden door at the end of the dark hallway. The door that had haunted her thoughts for days. Abeni knew that the answers she sought lay behind it, but her mother's warnings echoed in her mind: some doors are meant to stay closed. Her heart pounded as the shadows danced on the walls. The time had come. She had to open it. She had to know what her family had been hiding for generations. As Abeni sat staring at the door, her mother, Betty, entered the room. Betty's face was pale, her hands trembling as she clutched the edge of her dress. "Abeni," she said, her voice barely a whisper, "don't do this. Please. You don't understand what's behind that door." Abeni looked up, her eyes filled with determination. "I need to know, Mama. I need to know what you and Aya busy have been hiding from me. I can't live in the shadows anymore." Betty shook her head, her voice trembling. "It's not just about the past, Abeni. It's about what the spirit will do once you open that door." Abeni stood, her heart racing. "Then let it come." With a shaky hand, Abeni reached into her pocket and pulled out the old, rusted key. Her mother gasped, taking a step back. "No, Abeni!" Betty cried, but Abeni's mind was made up. The key slid into the lock with a loud click. The door groaned as it opened slowly, revealing a dark, musty room. The air was thick and heavy, and the scent of earth and age filled Abeni's nostrils. She took a step inside, her heart pounding like a drum. Her eyes adjusted to the darkness, and what she saw made her blood run cold. The room was small and windowless, lit only by the faint light coming from the hallway. In the center of the room stood an altar, old and worn, covered in dust. On the altar were strange objects, cowrie shells, feathers, and a small, broken clay pot. But it was the figure that sat beside the altar that caught Abeni's eye. It was a small statue, a woman carved from dark wood, her face twisted in an expression of pain. Around her neck was a chain made of bones, and in her lap rested a bundle wrapped in tattered cloth. Abeni's hands trembled as she reached for the bundle. She unwrapped it slowly, revealing a small wooden box, its lid engraved with strange symbols. Her heart raced as she opened the box, but what she found inside left her breathless. Inside the box was a piece of parchment, yellowed with age, covered in symbols and words that Abeni couldn't understand. But one thing was clear: the mark of the curse was upon her family. The parchments detailed a pact made long ago, a deal with a powerful spirit that had gone horribly wrong. Her breath quickened as she read the final words scrawled in red ink: "The spirit demands payment. The debt will be collected." Abeni's blood ran cold. This was the source of the curse. This was the reason for all the fear and secrecy. But why hadn't her mother told her? Why had her family kept this hidden for so long? Abeni stormed out of the room, her hands trembling as she clutched the parchment. Betty was standing in the hallway, her face wet with tears. "Why didn't you tell me?" Abeni's voice cracked, her anger bubbling to the surface. "Why did you keep this from me?" Betty's eyes were filled with pain. "I wanted to protect you, Abeni. I thought if we kept the door closed, the curse would remain locked away. But it's too late, isn't it?" Abeni said, her voice breaking. "The spirit is already here." Betty collapsed into a chair, sobbing quietly. "Yes. And now it will take what it is owed." Abeni's heart raced as the truth hit her like a wave. The curse was real, and there was no escaping it. That night, as Abeni lay in bed, the whispers returned. They were louder now, more urgent. She sat up, her heart pounding as the room filled with an icy chill. The candle flickered wildly before going out, plunging her into darkness. Then, from the far corner of the room, the spirit appeared once again. This time, it was clearer, its form more solid, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. The spirit pointed to Abeni, its finger cold as death. The debt will be paid, it whispered, its voice echoing through the room. There is no escape. Abeni's breath itched in her throat as the spirit slowly faded away, leaving her trembling in the cold, dark room. The weight of the curse pressed down on her. Time was running out.